الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. Inshallah, we are back, but again, let's remind ourselves about medications that we've mentioned, manageable and unmanageable that we've mentioned. If yours is a manageable illness, Alhamdulillah. If it is not, then definitely you break your fast and then pay the ransom, which is the fidya, as we have mentioned. Let's not forget that, as the ayah will tell us. So we said the ayah 185, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. The month of Ramadan in which Quran is revealed. Hudan linnas. Now, the description of Quran. Quran indeed is a guidance to humanity. A guidance in such a way that anybody who wish to have spiritual guidance, even lives on this earth, if you want to be guided, definitely Quran indeed is a guide. Therefore, we've learned many things in the Quran which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did mention. Now, when we learn it, the next stage is understand it, and then implement it, and then teach it to others. So Quran is indeed guidance to humanity. Hudan linnas. Now, guidance to humanity, again, is not only guidance to Muslims, no, to humanity, mankind. Muslims and non-Muslims are all part of Islam. We've mentioned also the ayah which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent you except as a blessing to humanity. And therefore, if your Islam is not helping you to actually help the other understand Islam properly, then there's something wrong with your Islam. I think we did mention that regarding those who actually come to the Islam new. How do we treat them? Are we going to treat them arrogantly and thinking that we know everything, or are we going to be humble and teach them one thing to the other? Or we give them a package, take it all? Life is not like that at all. You don't get PhD and until you have to go through a process. You have to go to primary school. You have to go to on and on, and then you eventually get whatever you need. So we have to do it chronologically.
I think that's the point that Sister Huda was trying to make.
Yes.
If I understand it right. That gradually, stepwise, not have them become PhD the first day. Right? I mean, if I understood you right, Sister Huda.
Sister Huda, yeah. Yeah, Sister Huda, I think definitely, we have to understand our nature, who we are. Trying to get PhD, it's not.
It's not going to happen. It's a gradual accumulation of
That's right.
Over time. It's just...
and even people sometimes who were honored and given PhD honorary degrees, when they speak, you can understand that you have accumulation of wealth, experience. Okay, so it is not, you just can't come today and then expect to get whatever you. If this is true, then definitely those coming to Islam, we have to make sure that we are humans. We have to make sure that if that is not possible for us, it is either not going to be possible for the other. And that's the point. We have to go slowly when, inshallah, when we teach Islam. So Hudan linnas, it's a guidance to humanity, mankind. So if your Islam is actually completely sidelined in some group, guess what? It's not good. Yours is to convey the message of Islam, and then so that the other would easily accept it. But also, just because we've said that, it doesn't mean we should compromise to the point of the basic principles. No, those basic principles ought to be there. And make it very clear, and then gradually move on to other things. There are many, many people also who would abuse this gradual principle of Islam and then continue to follow their desires. No, that is also not accepted. So hudan linnas, guidance to humanity. وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِّنَ الْهُدَى, again, an explanation of the guidance. Meaning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did mention in the Quran what had happened to nations before us, arrogance that came before us, humble people that came before us. If you need any example, you shall find it in the Quran. And that is explanation more about the guidance. Because when you read and you understand that Islam actually is helping you to live a dignified life, and also so that when you leave the world, you have a memorable, and people would mention your name. Because our lives, regardless, all of us would come to pass. All of us, without exception. Now, what legacy have you left? So if you read Quran and you've heard what had happened to nations before us and people before us, guess what? You are not getting young and younger, you are getting old and older, and time would come when you are no more part of this life. So explanation, more explanation in the Quran for all of us to understand where we want to be. Well, Furqan, and also Quran is a standard criteria, a criteria by which normality and abnormality is judged. You know, if you're talking about our lives, you know, living a decent life, where do you want to go? Do you want to choose, you know, asfal safilin, the wrong path which will lead one to destruction, or you want to choose the best path? So, Furqan. Furqan means criteria. Criteria by which, because every institution has, and every nation has constitution, and that constitution is guiding that community or that nation. Likewise, it is not saying that Muslims will not follow rules. No, Muslims will definitely follow every actually constitution as long as it is, you know, in the interest of humanity. But Muslims have Quran guiding them, and Quran is guiding you and I not to harm or not to cheat anyone, but also to be part of the larger community. We've mentioned it earlier that it is hudan linnas, guidance to humanity, Muslim and non-Muslim. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Therefore, he who witnessed the sighting of, or he who witnessed the month of the fasting, let them fast. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ, he who is present, مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ, the sighting of the moon, فَلْيَصُمْهُ, let them fast. Now again, وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا, and those who are sick. Allah is repeating here for us to understand that Islam is indeed a faith of rahmah, mercy. Again, Allah repeated after we read last week about sick people, that فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا, again, for those of you who actually are sick. And we've mentioned what sickness is all about. Sickness in terms of the two things that we mentioned. Either it's a chronic one or it's a temporary one. If it is a chronic one, go easy with yourself. If it is a temporary one, go easy with yourself. That's what Islam is talking about when we speak about marid or marad, sickness. Aw ala safarin, or he who is a traveler. Because art, especially our time today, is more of psychological. You know, when you're traveling, from here to, Pakistan or to Ghana, of course, Ghana is 12 hours. Dr. T, Pakistan is
non-stop about 14 hours.
non-stop 14.
Yeah.
Well,
14.
if you are traveling 14 hours and sitting in air condition, in a plane, and there's no such thing that, oh my God, I'm actually sweating. It's kind of a psychological, because I don't know what is, I've left my family here in New York, what is going on? And my family back home in Ghana, what is going on? I don't know what I'm going to face there. It is more of psychological. Well, there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned those that are travelers, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ. Let them make up those missed days after Ramadan. Now here, this is, we've mentioned when it comes to sick, we've mentioned about those that have, chronic disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that. If your prescription is unmanageable, we've already spoken about that. For fidya, meaning feeding. But if it is manageable, where you can take your prescription early during the pre-dawn meal or late after sunset, well, one could fast. We've said that. And traveler, when you're traveling, our time today, we are not saying you must fast. No, look at your situation. Because even at the airport sometimes can be painful.
I need your copy.
My car key? Okay, I'm going to give it to you. So, regarding those that are traveling, yes, because of the psychological struggle that one may go through, فَإِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ, you could fast other days. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Now, this is the point. Allah wants ease for you. Islam is not a pain. No. Ease for you. That's what Allah said. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. We read every time ba'da, usr yusra, inna ba'da usr yusra. That indeed, after difficulty, there is easiness. There is, inshallah, is to become easy. When you go through whatever pain, whatever painful experience, always anticipate that inshallah there's something good coming. All right. So here, for those that are sick and those that are traveling, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ, let them fast other days other than Ramadan. The reason is this: يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. And Allah does not intend to punish you. Difficulty. No. يَسِّرُوا وَلَا تُعَسِّرُوا وَبَشِّرُوا وَلَا تُنَفِّرُوا. Yassiru, go easy. Even look, when you're dealing with people, go easy. The Prophet was sending Muaz and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari to Yemen. And the first thing he told them was, Yassiru wala tu'assiru. Go easy with people, do not make things difficult for them. Go easy. Wabashiru wala tunafiru, and then give them good tidings. Wala tunafiru, don't frighten them. This is Islam. But again, just because Islam says go easy with people doesn't mean all the time keep looking for that which pleases the desire. No. There is a standard criteria by which everybody must follow. Even in your own house. There is the way you want your house to be. And if somebody comes in trying to rearrange that environment, I think you're not going to like it. There are things that are very clear, plain, abide by them. And there are those that it is yours, compromise. However, when it comes to teaching, go easy, slowly. Don't teach a person Fatiha, the entire Fatiha today, and then the next day he comes back and could not read Fatiha. Man, you are dumb, man. Fatiha, Fatiha, just Fatiha in 5 minutes. I learned Fatiha when I was a baby. Oh, when you were a baby, congratulations. But I'm not a baby. That's the fact. So let's understand that. That yes, Islam says yusr. Islam says there's no pain, there's no difficulty in that faith, looking at who we are. وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةِ, and then to actually fulfill the obligation and to complete it. Because you can fast 20 days and say, well, I'm done fasting. No. You cannot fast 25 days and say, you know what, 3 days, 4 days, Allah is Ghafur Rahim. No, it doesn't happen that way. You have to abide by that principle, that 29 or 30 days, complete that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for you, and also sanctify Allah, by saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And this is where scholars have said that وَلِتُكْمَلِ الْعِدَّةِ, and then fulfill that obligation and complete it. And then وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهِ, and then mention the name of Allah, meaning on the day of Eid. Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. That is what comes next. Now, we have to also appreciate our diversity. I've mentioned this, I'm mentioning this because last year, on the day of Eid, which is supposed to be a happy day, mine sometimes will not. The people. Why? Last year, and if you remember, I came a little bit late. I came to the musalla, the gym, a little bit late. Why? I came early and I was sitting in my office preparing for my, I'm going to lead 600, 700 people. So I was sitting, and usually I prefer on the day of Jummah, I don't want to talk, long talk. I don't want to discuss anything until after Jummah. I don't even eat until after Jummah. So I was sitting in my office going through what I'm coming to share. Because, look, my community is very rich in terms of resources. I'm not talking about money. No, alhamdulillah. But in terms of intellectual ability, you are not speaking to, you're speaking to people that are very, some of them are professors, others are doctors, so you need to prepare yourself. I was sitting in my office, preparing myself. The final stage. And then I heard somebody banging the door and came. Imam, I need to talk to you. You need to talk to me? I said, yeah. Please, would you let me after the Eid? No, it's very, very important. This will save the Ummah, else the Ummah will be destroyed. I said, oh, the Ummah will be destroyed. I said, yeah. I said, okay, come in. Oh my God. Wallahi, finally I have to tell these brothers that, could you get up? I have a business. Dude, this is the happiest day. This is a happy day, the day of Eid. I'm not here to, why? Because where he came from, that's Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. It's no, there's something else. And therefore, he is getting ready. He will be ready to go and do it, else these people are corrupting Islam. Corrupting Islam? I said, brother, what is your field? He said, engineering. I said, I have all the credentials that you have, okay, in Islam. Your engineering, I don't get involved in it. This is accurate, please. No. Back home, that is not, and back home, we are Islamic country. I said, how many Islam has been corrupted back home? Hello? Please, let me concentrate on my Eid. No. And finally, he said this to me. You've allowed yourself to be misled by doctors and people of money. And oh my God. My heart started pounding the day of Eid. This is before coming to lead. And I said, brother, get out. Brothers, get out. Two of them, get out. No, we are not getting out until you change that. And I said, look, let me tell you, if you did not get out, what's your name? You are going to be my khutbah today, the day of Eid. And everybody will know you. That's the only way I got them out. Why? They want me to change what is being done, which is authentic, the way they do it back home. And this is part of the challenges that I go through in our diversified world. And sometimes I go on the minbar and people don't know what I'm going through. And yes, you can see me standing there very emotional. I even try sometimes to forget certain things, but you cannot. Why? Because of the attitude of some of us. So, وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. You've been guided by Allah, and therefore sanctify Allah. Mention the name of Allah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Or whatever. The way you do it back home, fine. But if I don't change, usually I don't ask anybody to change. In Sudan, maybe they have their own way. In Egypt, they have their own way, additions. In Pakistan, they have additions. Congratulations. We have to appreciate that diversity. As long as it's based on Huda, as long as there is a furqan, a clear-cut guidance that you could do this way or that way, congratulations. Let's celebrate that diversity. وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Now, with this, ashukr is gratitude. Ashukr, appreciation. And therefore, here, after fasting 30 days or 29 days, and then receiving all the blessings of Allah, and then being blessed to see the day of Eid, and mentioning the name of Allah, and celebrating the Eid, and coming out, you've been forgiven. So, one of the things you have to remember is, how can I appreciate? وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you would appreciate that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. That is shukr. Now, a shukr between you and Allah, appreciating and thanking Allah for all that He has given you. And two, a shukr between us, between one another. Between you and your husband, you and your wife, between you and your kids, any household that it is known that is ingratitude, they do not appreciate each other, that household is a very, very weak, spiritually, in terms of Islam. If the husband will never appreciate the wife, if the wife will never appreciate the husband, that yes, I understand sometimes our back home, what we have back home is that, I can't say to my wife, thank you very much. So that's what somebody said to me. I said, brother, say thank you to your wife. Imam, it's in my heart. I can't say it because back home we don't do that. The Prophet did it. Allow. Appreciate your wife. Say thank you to your wife. And it's a problem, just say thank you and it will solve a lot of problems. Imam, I'm sorry, I can't. Because if women, if you say thank you, they're gonna abuse it. And I said the Prophet ﷺ did it with his wives. Hello, let's do it. So indeed, being grateful for that which Allah has given us and being grateful for one another is indeed something that is encouraged in Islam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Inshallah, next week we would continue our class on those verses, and we would read وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ.
We're having class next week.
We don't.
I think you said this is the last one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Huda. We don't have class.
I
This.
feel more than happy.
Oh yeah, I know. This is the end of our class. Inshallah, until after Ramadan, with 1 week, with 2 weeks. Inshallah, Sister Huda. 2 weeks, Sister Zarina, 2 weeks is good, right? After Ramadan. Brother Ashraf? Okay. Inshallah, after Brother Uthman, Chief, Dr. Chief. Inshallah, after Ramadan, 2 weeks, we would come back and we pray that Allah will bless us with the month of blessings, inshallah. But always let's be patient when it comes to doing. And I know Sister Khadija has aqiqah, inshallah, after Salah, and there will be food for us, inshallah, to eat. Yes, Sister.
Are we gonna go clean the cemetery during Ramadan?
The cemetery, in the month of Ramadan, yeah, we will try to do that. Inshallah, we will try.
Brother Muhammad said
Like next week, if we can.
Next week will be very difficult.
between the
Yeah, next week will be difficult. Maybe 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks will be because first a week we will try, to arrange ourselves. Maybe next 2 weeks, inshallah. Any other quick question before we leave? Okay, inshallah, we would end our class and we will have our aqiqah after Salat al-Dhuhr, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.